Hello, hello, this is Mrs. Samuels. Today we're going to learn about the distance formula. This is 7.5 notes if you're following along with me in your note pack. So let's get started right away. So this is what the whole page chart looks like. We're going to be going over those standards over there. These are our objectives, and we're going to keep using the Pythagorean theorem. And you'll see this crazy, scary picture down at the bottom. Basically, all we're doing is we are going to be able to find the distance between these 2 points. So we're just figuring out how long this is, okay? That's what we're going to be finding out right now. In order to do that, we're going to need a fancy formula, and it's going to look scary, and the more that we use it, the better off we'll be. So the distance formula is D equals a giant square root, literally giant. It's going to be x2 minus x1, and then we're going to square that. Then we're going to add that to y2 minus y1, and we're going to square that. Alright, so just copy that down. Pause the video if you need more time to copy that down. Now we're going to flip over our paper and we're going to do an example. Let me tape this down so it doesn't keep moving on me. Okay. Now we're going to find the distance between these 2 points, 1, 5 and -4, -2. And I'm going to start out with that distance formula. So, distance between 2 points is x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. And this formula will be up in the front. If it's scary to you, please do not worry. We are going to need to know what is x and what is y. So here's x and here's y. Here's x and here's y. And where the 1 and the 2 comes from is just which ordered pair comes first and second. So this is x1 and this is y1 because this is the first one. And this is x2 and this is y2 because that's the second one. So now I'm going to take the second x, which is -4, and I'm going to subtract the first x. And I'm going to square that. So I took the second x, and I'm going to take away the first x. And I'm going to add the second y minus the first y, which is 5. Feel free to pause the video, rewind it, go back and look, figure out where I just got all those numbers from. And now we can just do our algebra. Distance. Let's see here, if you owe $4 and then you owe another $1, you're going to owe 5. And if you owe $2 and you owe $5 more, you're going to owe $7. And now I can square these. -5 squared is going to give us a positive 25. Plus -7 squared will give me 49. And now I can add those up to be the square root of 74. And if you were to type in the square root of 74 on your calculator, you would receive a decimal. So what this means is that we're actually going to leave it as the square root of 74. So this is your answer. If it is ever a decimal, you can leave it as the square root. So this is the distance. It's about 8.6 units long. So the distance between these 2 points on the coordinate grid, and what I mean by coordinate grid is this. The distance between these 2 points is about 8.6 units long. So that's what we're trying to figure out. All right, on your guys' paper, there's an on your own section. There's question 3, question 4, and question 5. I would like you to pause the video right now, and I would like you to try this one. And if you get stuck, hit play. And then once you see that you're doing that right, then go on to the next one. Then hit pause, and then do it, hit play, check to make sure you're doing it right, and then the same thing there. It gets a little bit harder each time, okay? Notice that there's no negatives, then there's one negative, and then there's a whole bunch of negatives. So go in order, okay? All right, so please pause the video and do these problems now. All righty, let's see how we are doing. All right, so for this one, we need to start out with the distance formula. And instead of me writing down the distance formula, I'm going to actually just go straight into filling it in, but I'll just talk about what those are. So I'm going to start with the distance formula. This is my x, this is my y, this is my x, this is my y. This is the first one, this is the second. So the distance formula, which again you can look up at the board or on your own notes, is the second x, take away the first x, we're going to square that, plus the second y, take away the first y. All right, and I'm just plugging it in from this formula. I'm getting my information here. Let's do our algebra. 4 take away 0 is 4, so I have 4 squared. Plus 5 take away 0 is 5 squared. 4 times 4 is 16. Plus 5 times 5 is 25. Again, if I'm ever going too fast, pause the video. And now when I take the distance, I'm going to have the square root of 41. And if I were to type that in my calculator, I'm going to take the square root of 41 equals, and I'd get a decimal. So this is about 6.4 units long. So if you were thinking about those squares, it'd be about 6.4. So I'm not going to write 6.4 though. I'm going to just leave it as the square root of 41. So I am done. Alrighty, let's see how number 4 is going. Again, I'm going to use that distance formula. This is my x, this is my y, this is my x, this is my y, this is my first one, this is my second, and this is my second one. Alright, so the distance is the square root of my second x minus my first squared plus my second y minus my first y, and we're going to square all of that. Alrighty, and now let's do the algebra piece. 9 minus 7 is going to give me 2 squared plus a negative and a negative makes it positive. So this becomes 6 plus 3, which is 9 squared. 2 times 2 is 4. 9 times 9 is 81. 4 plus 81 is 85. And now I'm going to take the square root of 85. I get a decimal, so it's about 9.2 units long, but I want the exact, so I'm going to leave it like this. Alrighty, last one we're going to do. Again, make sure you're pausing the video and trying these on your own. Or if you don't have any idea, watch me go through it and then pause the video and try it on your own that way. But you can't just watch these videos, so make sure that you're actually doing the work. Alright, distance. I'm going to use this distance formula again. The distance is the square root. This is my x, this is my y. This is my x, this is my y. This is my first one, and these are my second. So I'm going to have my negative 5 minus a negative 2. And I'm going to square that, plus 1 minus a negative 3, and I'm going to square that. I'm taking my second, subtracting my first. A negative and a negative makes a positive. Same thing here, a negative and a negative makes a positive. Alright, so let's go through this one. If you owe me $5 and then you have $2, you're going to owe me 3. If you have $1 and you have 3, you now have 4. I put this one in parentheses because there's a negative on there and I want to make sure that I don't lose the negative. -3 times -3 will give me 9. 4 times 4 is 16. Now I have 9 plus 16, which is 25. And I know that 5 times 5 is 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. So the distance between these 2 points on the coordinate grid are 5 units. There's 5 boxes between them. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video on how to find the distance formula. Those are your notes. That is your practice. Awesome. Have a good day, and I'll see you next time.